advertisement Chinese New Year. Got here on social media, got people complain that it got plagiarized kena jiplak people copy. Got hear the story Oh, don't have. Oh, okay. There's this couple of movie people One is a director, one's I don't know what the other guy, probably a story writer. Okay. They came out with a storyline. They presented to an advertising company 2 years ago. The advertising company rejected that story. Alright. But then surprisingly, this year's Petronas Chinese New Year advertisement used that story. Unfortunately, you see, the problem is they are trying to, they have made a lot of complaints, but unfortunately from a legal perspective, they have no ground because copyright protects the expression, it doesn't protect the idea. So the idea is the story, but they didn't, this year's Chinese New Year advertisement didn't use their video. It took the idea only. Understand? It took the idea, but then they make their own video They hire their own actors, they write their own script, and then they make their own video. So under copyright law, no grounds, alright? Because copyright law only protects the expression of the idea, not the idea itself. Understand? Clear? Clear? Okay. So in Malaysia, the cool thing about this in Malaysia is software is covered as well. So software is also protected by copyright. Okay, and most of you are doing, if you use open source software, then it's mainly this one. And this thing, 50 years after that, that's the duration of the copyright protection. Now, this one is very, very controversial. Right? Why is 50 years after death? In other words, after the author has died, still protected for 50 years. It's a bit long, if you ask me. If the fellow lives 70 years plus 50 years, that's 120 years. Right? And it's going to be lengthened even further because Malaysia has signed on to a TPPA. Under TPPA, we have to amend this to 70. Right? So it's going to be even longer. Right? But that's copyright. Now the third kind of IP law that we have in Malaysia is called trademarks. Right? Trademarks, what do they protect? Very simple to understand. Trademark basically protect the brand. Alright, say here is distinguishing sign, but basically it protects the brand. Right? So you got Nike, right? Nike. Then you got Nikkei or something else. Sushi the other way, right? That's what it's about. Trademarks are protecting the brand. Understand? Alright, so you got iPhone, you got iPhone, right? Alright, so you got Reebok and you got whatever. Okay? So that's what it is about. It protects the sign or the brand. And it's only for 10 years under Malaysian law. But this 10 years is renewable. In other words, as long as you are in business, you are still producing your products, you can renew the license forever. The protection is forever. But once your company goes bankrupt, then after 10 years, that's it. It's completely free for all. Everyone can start producing products using your name. Okay? Understand? Okay, good. That's the three common ones that you can actually find anywhere around the world, not just in Malaysia. Malaysia also got, but everywhere in the world also they have these three ones. But in Malaysia we got some unique ones. You can only find them in Malaysia and a few other countries. Majority of countries in the world do not have this protection. Alright. Number one is industrial design. What is industrial design? You all know what's industrial design? Like, let's say for example, you design packaging, you design bottle, the shape of the bottle, right? That is industrial design. That can be protected in Malaysia. The design of furniture, for example, right? So physical things that can be protected by industrial design. As well as integrated circuits. This one is chip design. When you design chips, microprocessors or whatever, in Malaysia, special we have this. Okay, in this one, I think there are maybe like less than a dozen countries in the world that actually have this. Okay, but Malaysia is one of them. And as you can see, it's also very new, year 2000. Okay, so this one is actually quite special. So when it comes to software in Malaysia specifically, these are the ones that we can actually use to protect software in Malaysia. So industrial design, you can protect as packaging if you sell software as a package. Trademarks, branding, so you name the product, you give your product a cool name, that name you can protect. Let's say you call your product My Taxi, right? That one you can go and trademark market. Right, and then you can copyright the actual software as well. Unlike in the US, in Malaysia you cannot patent software. Okay, in the US you can, but not in Malaysia. Okay, so you can't protect the idea for the software in Malaysia. Okay, you can only protect the actual software itself under copyright. Understand that? Okay, so that's basic copyright law for you and IP law. Now, as for open source software, if you guys use it, then I want to correct some misconceptions. The most common misconception you have especially in Malaysia, when it comes to open source software is free one, don't you pay? Correct?
Freeware. No.
You have to pay for open source software. No? Free lah, right? That's why I say that's a misconception I'm trying to correct.
Open source.
Alright. Open source software or free software, okay, nothing to do with money. Alright, it's nothing to do with money. It's about philosophy. Right? Very boring stuff, philosophy. But the fundamental thing is, alright, there's two things we're going to talk. There are two different things. One is open source software, one is free software. Two different things. But they're very similar in nature. Okay, so normally they come together. But when it comes to open source software, the key thing here is the fact that the software should have its source code available for you to study. Now, the scary thing about software is, nowadays software is in everything. Everything has software. Even your car also software. You all know now the hot topic is self-driving cars, right? And people like Google, or Tesla. Recently got Tesla, got a few accidents, people die. Right? So self-driving cars are coming soon. Alright, maybe in the next 5 years, 10 years or whatever. Alright, they're coming onto the market. They're already street legal in the US, they're street legal in Singapore as well. Right, they're just not yet approved in Malaysia. Okay, but you can imagine, let's say 5-10 years from now, we will have self-driving cars. Now, the scary thing is, the self-driving car is completely controlled by software. Purely software, right? Not driver control. It's actually computer control. Now, but the source code for the software, it's usually proprietary, in which case it's not available for inspection. So you have no idea what they write inside the software. Okay, whether it's good or not good, you don't know. The more scary one is your phone. You all download a lot of apps, right?
Yep.
No. People use get smartphone never download that one.
Blood swear.
I don't believe you. Okay? Sure, you download that one. At least got some extra apps. Okay? You download apps, then they ask for permission, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got read or not. Usually you don't, right?
No.
Just press okay, I'll be like okay, right? And then what happened? Wow, everything inside your phone the fellow can steal. You also don't know. Okay? And for a lot of us modern people, the phone is very important because it contains a lot of sensitive information. Like say for example your email. Right? If I have access to your email account, I basically have access to everything. Alright? I can go and access whatever, reset password. Correct? Reset password sent where?
Email.
If I have access to your email account, so how? I can get in already. Alright, so you imagine it's very scary. Some of you have banking information, online banking on the phone and things like that. So if you do not have access to the source code for the software, how do you know what the software is doing? You have no idea. Alright, so that is usually the argument used by the open source people. That is, you should have access to the software source code because if not, there's no way for you to know what the software is doing. If it's doing bad things, you also don't know. Okay, and there's no way for you to know. Right? So that's the argument here. Now, free software is a completely different thing. The philosophy is slightly different. The philosophy behind free software is the person who receives the software should have the freedom to do whatever he or she wants with the software. For example, if you look at real world analogy, if let's say I buy a product, I buy let's say this bottle of water, I can do what I want with this bottle of water.
Yep.
I want to drink, I want to pour. The bottle inside the plastic bottle, after that I want to do what I also can. I want to burn. I want to recycle. I want to turn into some arts and crafting also up to me. Correct? But when it comes to software, you are not allowed to do anything with the software. I don't know if you realize this now. Right? For example, you all pirate software here.
Pirate Bay.
Don't tell me lah. Got pirate software? No lah, all good people, right? All buy only one, no? Okay, so you go and you buy new PC, you got Windows only one, no? Only one, right? Okay. So you see, copy of Microsoft Windows on your computer, right? You are not allowed to do anything in Microsoft Windows on your computer. For example, you cannot resell it. You may have bought let's say Microsoft Office license. Or let's say your computer comes with a free Microsoft Office license. You bought a new one, they give you free Office license, and then you decide, hey, I want to use Microsoft Office. I want to sell this license to my friend. Chip, chip, 100 ringgit. Sell. Alright? Your friend buy from you, you know what you just did? You just broke the law. You broke copyright law, punishable with up to 20 years imprisonment. Just to let you know, up to doesn't mean you're going to depends on your luck. Depends on the judge, completely up to you. Alright, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. In terms of software, proprietary software especially, most of the time you're not allowed to do anything with software. You cannot resell it, you cannot even lend it. You buy a DVD, let's say Ori DVD, you watch finish the show, you pinjam, lend to your friend to watch, and you say, oh, this is a very nice latest show. Lend him to watch, you know what happened? Again, you just broke the law. You just broke the law. Punishable by up to 20 years imprisonment.
What the heck?
Okay, let you know. Okay? So now you know, you cannot say I don't know. You know already.
I have a lot of DVD.
But yeah, so in terms of software, right, the idea behind proprietary software is everything you cannot do. So that's why there's this free software philosophy, which is the user, because he bought the product, right, the user should be allowed to do anything he or she wants with the product. Right? Like your book, your textbook, you buy already, you use already, actually you sell to junior,
Yep.
breaking the law. You cannot resell the book, you have no license to resell the book. Okay? It's copyright law for you. Okay? So just to let you know, so that's the reason we have this thing here. That's why we have free and open source software. The idea behind this is they want, number one, you to have the ability to study what is it that you actually bought. And number two, since you bought it anyway, you should be allowed to do whatever you want with what you bought. Alright? You want to resell it, you want to, give it away, you want to modify it, change it, you should be allowed to do that. Okay? So that's the philosophy. So as just to let you know, there's this term called copyleft. Copyleft is a play on the word copyright. So in terms of normal products you find in the world, it's usually copyrighted. Copyrighted means everything is restricted. You cannot do this, cannot do that. You cannot distribute, you cannot make a copy, you cannot give your friend, you cannot sell to people, you cannot. Okay? Now copyleft is the open source or free software principle where everything can. Please feel free to copy as many copies as you want. Please feel free to give it away if you want. Please feel free to sell to people if you want. Please feel free to do whatever you want with it if you want. Okay? So that's a completely different philosophy driving it. Alright. So how do we control all these things? Open source software. Open source software can only work. Alright? Copyleft, the principles behind copyleft can only work if we have strong copyright laws. Because what it does, it uses the copyright laws against copyright people, the copyright. Okay, so it uses the law but use it in a different way, the violent way, in order to enforce freedom, not enforce restriction. Okay, so that's the principle, difference there. So how does it do it? It does this by using licensing. Right? Under copyright, you can issue licenses for software. Now, licenses got macam-macam all kinds. There are currently more than 100 different approved licenses, okay, that you can pick and choose when you are, let's say you are developing software product, you can pick and choose any of these 100 licenses, and they fall into a spectrum. Right? Some of the licenses are what I call proprietary friendly. Proprietary friendly means, this is at one end of the spectrum, proprietary friendly. Means that if you take that software, that source code, okay, you can take that open source software and source code and, let's say for example, put it in your commercial product, you come up with a new product, you take someone else's source code, you put it into your product, and you are allowed to hide it. You can make your product proprietary. In other words, you don't need to give away your product source code. Okay? So some of the licenses fall into this category. You can understand?
Yes.
Okay? You take someone else's code out there, open source one, you take it, you put it inside your product, and you don't tell people.
NVIDIA.
Right? You say it's proprietary. Okay? Some licenses allow you to do that. That's one end of the spectrum. Now, the other end of the spectrum, the other end of the spectrum, you have what I call business friendly licenses, which is if you take someone else's open source software, alright, you put it into your product, alright, your entire product source code must also be made